Alright, good morning everybody. Hope we're having a great day. I'm a little hoarse. I literally just crawled out of bed again. Sorry guys. I'm a little behind, but you know, it's alright. I need to get chat up here. I know. I know. Okay. Can I pop this? No. Can I pop this out? No. Cookie settings. Ugh. I just want to pop chat out. Okay, I guess I can't. Discord. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Where is... Okay, there's... let's see. And then let's go over to our good buddy, yep, there. Okay. And then post. All right, cool. We're golden. We're gravy. I am recording. Awesome. Sorry about the lack of verbiage there. All right. Still not completely set up here. So dumb. Oh, I gotta wake up like at least an hour earlier. I get prepped that much, and then, oh man, and then, oh, this isn't even plugged in. Gah. All right, fine. We'll make this. What's the word I'm looking for? We'll make this wireless. So we'll do settings, and then we'll do connection, and quality performance, image quality. Yeah, that's fine. How do I make this go? Dang it. I don't have a free USB port for my monitor. What? Let me just disconnect this flash drive. I know. Like all of my stuff is on that flash drive, but oh my goodness. All right. Is it really over here? I need to sign in to Kick. Nope. Not that. Definitely not that. Oh, freaking one-time passcode. You don't stream for a week, we're gonna make you put in your one-time passcode. I hate Kick. No, I don't hate Kick. But it is annoying that I have to put in my one-time passcode every time. Okay. Discord verification, or not Discord. Kick verification. Put in the password. And then I'll go to creator dashboard. That's what we want. It's misconfigured. Well, such is the way. I should probably change the logo too, huh? Because we're not doing haunted binary today. Let's do browse USB. Where is it? No. I think it's on my desktop. I really need to reorganize this flash drive. It is a mess. A mess, I say. Nope. That ain't it. That ain't it. There. Oh, you are tiny, sir. Why are you so tiny, sir? I said, why are you so tiny? Okay. So, yes, today we are drawing for Exclusion Zone, the RPG side of the skirmish game. I'm not entirely sure what I'm drawing yet, but I do know it is for art for the RPG. With that in mind, let's go ahead and close out of that window, minimize that window, close this one, and that one, and now we're on the glorious page. All right, so I know I don't want to do a character piece, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a center mark. Ooh, we're making gray. I don't want to make gray. I don't want to make gray today. Alright, so we know we're doing a locale. I guess a good place to start would be, let's start with, maybe the interior. Why are we still on that? The interior of, or the exterior of something. So I'm going to put just kind of a focal line here. And I'm going to put one here. And then we'll make a new layer. We'll make a new layer. Yeah. And this is just to kind of give me a point of reference of like where things are going to be. Let's see. All right, that's a little too heavy. Let's bring it down to, I don't know, 15. Oh, it's at 28. That's why, not 20. Okay, let's try this again. We're gonna go still a little too heavy. 15. All right, now that's a little better. All right, I don't know what I'm sketching. Oh, you know what? I think I have an idea. I know I said I didn't want to do a character piece, but what if I do a mutation? So what I need is a nice semicircle. And then let's go ahead and add a couple of flourishes over here. And then one over here. And then one nice one here. And then we're going to make this deliberately a little crooked, a little wumpus. And then just like that. And then we'll do a little mouthy dealy thing here. And then we'll do this for the nose. And then we'll come back in here. And I'm going to start doing this. Just start kind of lining this back section here, refining this into a more jagged shape. And boom, that magically. All right. Now I know it's not apparent right away what I'm working on, what I'm doing, and that's all right. I don't need it to be apparent just yet. So let's do a little bit more here. And then I'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. A nice little blub blub blub. It is becoming increasingly easier to draw while I'm not looking at the medium at which I am drawing on. I didn't think, I thought if I was going to use this tablet and use it for like a year, I might be able to actually start using it the way I you know, I like to sketch down stuff and draw and whatnot. But it turns out that the it didn't take that long. I'm not entirely sure what mechanism is at play, but I would assume it has something to do with adaptation. And today, I guess we can talk about adaptation. I'm not entirely sure how, but yeah. I think I'm gonna erase a little bit in here just to kind of and then we'll do that to here, and that chunk doesn't need to be quite so tall. The word of the day, adaptation. I'm going to go ahead and erase a little bit of this, and then erase this down to about here. And then we'll erase some of this just to kind of give ourselves a little bit of a, I don't know what you would call it. But there it is. I'm not happy with that, so I'm going to redraw. I'm going to redraw. Alright, so what I want to do is just kind of nice crooked little blop there. Let's go to a new layer and we'll do that, and then dude, I just want to select it, dude. I will rotate this just a tad. Just a tad. Alright. Now, where's my water bottle? I need something to drink. I do hope that you all are staying hydrated this summer. I think it's going to be a very aggressive summer this year. And the only reason I think that is because in spring we were already seeing like 100-degree weather. And now I know that is going to be different per region for any number of reasons. But hydration is important. And I personally should be doing more of it, and I just ain't. Alright, so we've got our stump character here. This stump character is what we call a vine bark, and they live on the surface. Their roots aren't really roots, they're limbs, and they practice a form of mimicry. Um, they are a predatory animal that looks like a plant. So, and particularly a like knocked down or cut down tree. And they bury a sack in the ground that gets used as their stomach. And basically, they kind of like camouflage themselves into the rest of the forest floor, and they're not really hunters. They're more like moving pitcher plants. A pitcher plant gives off like a scent, and that scent draws insects and whatnot, or or like tiny frogs and stuff. A pitcher plant takes like it lives in the Amazon, I think, and it's like bulb. All right, let me see if I can't draw a picture of one here real quick. So, what it looks like is kind of, we'll do one of these, and then it's got like a flat deal. And then it kind of looks like a pepper. And then the inside of its walls are like super smooth. They're like covered in a really like waxy substance. And that waxy substance, like once something gets in there, it doesn't get out. Because that waxy substance prevents anything from climbing up. Not even frogs can get out of it because the surface is so smooth. But it kind of like hangs, and then it's got like this little flap deal that will close on the animal or insect or whatever happens to be unlucky enough to like find the smell attractive. And so like you get a little fly or something, and it's buzzing around, and whatever, like there's our little fly flying, and it goes into here. Oh, so this smells real good, and then it just gets caught. So the idea comes from the pitcher plant, except it being a plant of some kind. It's an animal that uses mimicry. In this instance, it mimics two plants to prevent itself from being predated on. That's the word of the day. I know I said adaptation was, but it is a predation countermeasure. And it's that thing. It's that thing I just said. But in an effort to make this look a little less garbo, here's the pitcher plant. So like I said, the plant itself is essentially a stomach. And then it has a mouth. And then this flap is like a trap door. And then this will swing shut once that fly lands in there, or a frog or whatever, and it stays closed until whatever fell in is digested. And so the flap serves as like a kind of secondary, mechanism to make sure its food doesn't get away. And so the vine bark is very much the same concept. It's just let me just do this. Let me just fill this in. I'm not happy with the way I'm making shadows and stuff, and it doesn't really convey the inside of the mouth area, but yeah, there you have it. So the vine bark like copies this plant and a tree. It would appear, and it's super intelligent, like ungodly intelligent. It can actually speak. Like these face parts on this thing are not like for show. But there you go. There's the pitcher plant. I just hid the layer. I think I'll use it again eventually. But there you go. It's a pitcher plant that can speak and move. And then what we'll do is we'll do one of these. And then we'll do one of these. Come on. Thank you. Oh, I'm working on the wrong layer. Working on the wrong layer. Hide. There we go. So again, let's try this. And then we'll do one of these. Oops. No, we're good. We're golden. We're doing where we need to be doing. And then we'll do another one of these. And then one of these. And then come back, clean that up a little bit later, but for now the idea is just get the general idea down. And I use these squiggles here to kind of plot where the rest of the appendage is going to fall. And then we'll just kind of do this. So I'm really just using this as a guide and not like a rule for where things are gonna lay. It's just kind of there um, for like um, mapping, if that makes sense. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not an artist, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I went to school for graphic design, and yeah, like I'm capable of doing rudimentary drawing, but I'm not. I don't consider myself an artist. Um, oop. Uh, ooh, yeah, I forgot the number one rule of Fight Club, and that's don't let your perspective change while in Fight Club. Okay, so maybe that's not the first rule of Fight Club, um, but it is the first rule of perspective. Don't change your perspective while you're in the middle of trying to show perspective. We're gonna make that a little irregular here. Now, perspective is, at least in my opinion, one of the harder things to draw, primarily because tracking the way everything lays out is kind of a lot to think about, and it's not like my least favorite thing to do. But it's not like my favorite thing either, because it's a lot of load having to, for me particularly. I don't know how it is for anyone else, so I can only speak about me. For me particularly, I'm unsure of how the what is the word I'm looking for? I'm unsure of how like horizontal and vertical and diagonal lines are supposed to converge sometimes. So it makes, like, okay, so I need to draw another example. So you have your horizontal line, and you have your subject in the distance, right? And from that subject, you would draw like a V shape, right? Or a V shape. Right? And then anything you draw on the scene has to go from this to this and this all at once. And this is basically the top of whatever other subject is in the image, the bottom of whatever other subject is the image, and this will be your foreground, right? And this would be your background. And so keeping all of these aligned is a lot for me to consider. So like keeping this aligned, this. It's a lot of, I guess, mental math that I have to consider. And it's a lot for me to track, and it makes my brain hurt. It makes my brain hurt. And yeah. And then, I don't know, I'm just adding like rings here to maybe complete the look. Maybe make it feel more arborish. Arbor is what you would use to define a tree. So let's go ahead and add a new layer. And then for you, we'll do, I don't know, or no. Yeah, I guess that works. And then we'll do, I don't know, 20. And then hardness, you'll go way up. So yeah, perspective is hard for me to deal with. I don't dislike doing it. I don't necessarily like doing it. But it's one of those things where I just do it. So I'm not really upset when I have to do something about something else. It's just it's one of those things that you do. You know, it's like you don't think about breathing, right? It's just one of those things you do. That said, it is a load, and it's kind of hard for me to keep track of sometimes. Most of the time. Okay. Nearly all the time, but we're not gonna dwell on that. So right now I'm just kind of coloring in, trying to stay within the lines. Of our creature here. All right. Okay. Like I said, a vine bark is one of those rapid adaptations in the what's the word I'm looking for? In the biomes of the setting of the RPG. The RPG takes place in New Jersey. I don't know why I picked New Jersey. I think it has something to do with a joke. I've been told that maybe it's not a good joke, but you know what? It's my joke, dang it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in what I think can use some darker darker, darker, darker tones. And then we're just going to go, yep, just like that. And there we go. I'm getting a very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Very Mike Judge art style feel off of this right now. It's not a bad thing, but it's not necessarily artwork I aim to emulate. I don't dislike Mike Judge. In fact, I grew up in the Beavis and Butthead era, so I guess that's part of why it's sticking, is because it's something familiar. And I guess falling back on familiar things is only natural. Whether you do it consciously or subconsciously, that is a topic for debate, topic for discussion. And then we'll just go like this, like that, like this. And then you can go like that. There we go. Give it a little bit of depth. Maybe give it a little bit of shadow around the base. Maybe a little bit of shadow around the base. I'm just going to do these little, like, sprouty dealies around the shadow. It's going to give me something to, like, hit with the blur tool, so that it doesn't look too flat when I go to blur it later. And then we'll just kind of draw around here. Shadow is also another very, like, difficult thing for me to do. Miniature painting, not a problem. I can paint shadow, everything, just fine. Because I understand the way light reflects on a particular surface. Here, there's like some sort of disconnect when I draw. I don't really understand the surface. And yeah, I don't really necessarily understand how the surface details are interacting with light. On a miniature, I can see how the surface details are interacting with light. On, like, anything in physical space, I can see that no problem. And I'm not entirely sure what disconnect there is from that and well, not that. Anything of two-dimensional, excuse me, anything on a two-dimensional surface or two-dimensional plane, it kind of escapes me. So yeah, that looks very much disjointed. Let me go ahead and add some shadow. You know what? I'm going to do a new layer, and then I'm going to do shadow to kind of blend in. And we're just going to go like this, making little wispy things on it. We're making little dealy dudes. Okay. Alright. And now we can blur. And now it looks a little more unified. It still looks really off to me. Perhaps I need to be a little bit more aggressive with the shade. Let's do a little bit of black on the bottom here, where it would meet the ground, and then we'll do our darker brown over top. And now I think, okay, that looks better. Am I happy with this? Yes, but I need to do the same with this. So hold please while I reinforce the shadow from the bottom. We'll just do this. And now I know that doesn't make sense right now, but trust the process. Alright. And now we blur. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. That looks a little heavy. Crud. Alright, so this is fixable. Just go in and erase a little bit of it. Not a whole lot, just a little bit of it. This is just meant to thin out the shadows just a tad. I don't want to eliminate it completely. I just want to thin it and blend it back in. That's slightly better. I think I'll need another pass, but oh. Oops. What we need to do is this. And now alright, I think I've knocked him down a significantly sufficient portion. Let me go ahead and draw this out a bit. And then, oh, see, that's mint. And then let's go ahead and do this top here. We definitely want that to be a much lighter, like almost tan color. So what I'll do is, oh, that's the eraser. I don't want the eraser. I want the paintbrush. That's too close to, it's too close to the original color. And then I'll do a little bit of this. Just a tad bit. Just a tad bit. Oh, ventured into territory I did not want to venture into. That's fine. It's okay. We can fix it. And then what I want to do is grab that, nope. Grab that color and go into the background here, like so. Just kind of draw this all in. Just kind of drawing it all in. For y'all. I'm spending a lot of time on this character creature deal. Which is fine. Which is fine. And then take this and I'll do like some little highlights here and there. Doesn't look too bad, I don't think. Let's go ahead with one of these right here. Because the center of a tree is always the darker part of the tree. But I'm gonna blur it so that it kind of, I don't know, gradients in, I guess. And then we'll do I don't know what to do next. Okay. What's on layer 1? Okay, that's on layer 1. So what I'll do is I'll group these all into a new folder. I'll call it line bark, I guess. And then we'll start a new layer on top of it, I guess. What I'll do is right now I'm just gonna kind of freehand something. I don't know what. I'm just gonna start sketching. Oops. We're gonna go 4 pixels, just enough to see what we're working on. It kind of looks like a praying mantis. The praying mantis is all over the place. You know what? We're gonna lean into it. It's looking a lot less healthy than I wanted it to. We're going to make it double-headed. And then we'll do one of these, one of these. If you ever looked at a praying mantis, they have mandibles, yes, but they also have mouth parts on, it's more like teeth, I guess, that go along the the front of the mouth. And I'm not entirely sure how many teeth there are. When I was younger, I was like enamored by praying mantises, and I think, okay, we got body here. I think, I'm not entirely sure why, but I think it had something to do with their sickle arms. Like everything about the mantis was just like crazy cool to me. Like, it's got sickle arms, and it's like not ambush hunter, but like, well, I guess it is an ambush hunter, isn't it? Hang on, let me double check that. Let's see. Is the praying mantis an ambush hunter? Is the praying mantis a ambush? The deadly dance of the praying mantis, how they lure prey, find stock, and yeah, okay, let's see. This is on Discover Wild Science. In the shadowy underbrush of the sun at blah 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 blah. I just want to know if it's yes or no. Okay. Okay, Wikipedia. The praying mantis is primarily an ambush hunter, using camouflage and stealth to wait for its prey to approach before striking with its powerful forelegs. Some ground-dwelling species also actively pursue prey. Interesting. So yes, I was correct, and I wasn't misremembering something. Excuse me. It is an ambush hunter. Whoa. I think I'm hungry. I think I need to eat soon. And then we'll do that and that. And then we'll put these here. And the reason I'm drawing these circles is to give myself a point of reference from where the joints need to be. Yeah, I guess that's good enough. And then we'll do one of these here, one of these there. This comes up to here. This comes up to here. And then, boom, done. Scribble, scrabble. And then I'm just going to draw segmentation, like a vague idea of segmentation here. I'm not looking for perfection, just looking to get it represented. This misshapen mass of misshapenness. Mantises also have like a particularly flat head, so this will be like V's. Oh crap, I gotta check my blood sugar. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Give me a second. Ravage. Okay. Alright, 148. According to my Dexcom. I don't know how accurate that is, though. So, I'm just going to push on for a little longer until I think I need to actually eat something. Yeah, so we'll do... Alright, we'll do a new layer. It's fine. What I'll do is I'll work on defining this. And then we'll do one of these. And don't need much for the fangs. Well, I call them fangs, but they're just mandibles. And then we'll do same over here. I'm not going to go too wild on this because I'm going to shrink it down. That's the plan, is I'm going to shrink it down and stick it on top of our stump character here. So misshapen eyes, check. I mean, if it has two heads, why do the eyes have to look fine? You know? I'm just going to put like a little divot here in the top. we go. All right. And then I'll do very carefully segmentation. This is for all the marbles. Actually, it's going to be a lot easier if I just do this. And then do this. Fun fact, I have never been able to draw a straight line. Never. Never, ever, ever. And I'll do one of these. So I compensate for what I cannot do by leaning into what I can do. And that is a form of adaptation. So I'm going to hide that for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and erase some of this because, ladies and gentlemen, I need it to not look like it's, messed up 6 different ways from Sunday. And then we'll do like one of these deals, I guess. There we are. And then I know I said I wasn't going to go super detailed because I planned on like shrinking it. But you know what? I'm just gonna draw this how I draw it, and we'll see what it looks like in the end. And here we are. We're going to go ahead and just kind of scratch in a little bit of shading here. Just a little bit. Not a lot, but enough to give it a little bit of depth. I'm being real deliberate here, very careful. I'm not entirely sure why. But yeah, we're gonna really? What is your problem? What is your problem, sir? Let's go ahead and okay. So I know that this section has to come up Oh. Okay. We're gonna go with this. Did you know that the praying mantis is also sometimes called a walking stick on account of its stick-like appearance? Yeah, I don't like that. Oh, hang on. Maybe it is useful. Yeah, no, I don't like it. I don't like it. Not at all. Not at all. I think I'm putting whatever I intend to be shadow in the wrong spot. And then this guy. I know this makes it look unconnected, but trust the process. Doesn't look too bad. Not too shabby, if I say so myself. Actually, it's not what I want to do. Let me go ahead and... Yep, there we go. Alright. Eraser. Where are you, Eraser? Yeah, that's fine. Because what I'll do is I will draw another pad here. There we go. And we'll do this. We'll do one of those. And since we need all of this to tie into the rest, yeah, there we go. Give it a little bit of shape with some of these little tiny lines. There's very thin lines to kind of go, hey, this is sort of round, but it's also sort of flat. And I hate it. I hate it. Thanks. I hate it. I think a little bit of restraint is in order. Just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. Don't be afraid to restrain yourself. Like I said, I'm not really an artist. I don't consider myself to be one. I'm not, especially not going into people's DMs and be like, hey, can I draw you stuff and you give me money? No, if I offer to draw someone something, it's going to be for free. I'll be like, here you go. You can have this thing I made. I made it for you. Thank you for your consideration. Might not be the greatest work, but you know what? I did it, and I'm proud of it. Which means that's gotta be a different shape too, which is fine because I can do that. That's easy to do. Just go boop, boop, boop. And here's that perspective problem I talked about earlier. Trying to keep everything like in line with everything else for the appearance of a three-dimensional shape. Not really my forte. So what I'll do is I'll delete that primary layer of the thingamadeal. Excuse me. Alright, since these are going to be a new element, let me just go ahead and then we'll do one of these. It's definitely a little bit more geometric than I had anticipated. But you know what? I think it gives it a little bit of charm. Just a tad bit between you and me and the trees. Go. Nice little box shape down here. Alright, let's remove that background layer. It's not looking too bad. I do want to make a bit of connective tissue here. Let me go ahead and hide that too while I'm at it, only because I need to see down into here. Um, there we go. That's more like it. This needs to get wrecked, son. Get wrecked. Alright. So now I need to do this. And one of these. And then either I make that all shadow, okay, yeah, that works. That works particularly well. And then we'll do one of these deals down this way. All right, and now just a little bit of that. Quite happy with that, actually. And now we need to draw the huge honkin' hand raisers. That I'm going to start on a new layer with. And the reason for that is there's a particular shape I'm going for. There we go. And now I can go ahead and hide that. Oh, no. You don't get any extra line work, okay? I don't want you to have more lines than I'm willing to give you. There's a budget for lines, okay? And you're not in the budget. You're just not, okay? You're just not in the budget. Go ahead and clean this up a bit. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we can do this super, super rad. I'm going to start saying rad again. It's been 30 years, right? Rad, radical. I think we should start saying that again. I'm going to go to the comic book shop on Saturday and just be like, dude, this one thing is so rad. I don't know how well this is going to translate when I start doing color, but that's definitely not what we wanted. What I want to do is a little something like this. Excuse me. I must be getting really hungry. fun fact, I have what is referred to as an executive function disorder, and it's really weird because like people get hunger signals apparently, and I just don't. I just kind of have to put myself on a timer and be like, all right, I ate here, and now I need to eat there. Here and there being like 4-hour increments, if I'm going to be honest. 4 to 6 hour increments. And that's something I had to start recently doing because of about a year ago I got diagnosed with diabetes. I think I was pretty public about that on X, but the long and short of it is it doesn't, the disorder does not pair well with blood sugar management, and that is just by virtue of the mental illness stuff and all the medications I have to take to like just manage operating on a day-to-day basis. It's not like a problem anymore. Well, okay, so it is a problem, but it's not like what's the word I'm looking for? It's not like it's gonna stop me from meing. So I'm drawing these little boxes here. And these little boxes are going to be kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to be kind of like the segmentation in the neck, or necks rather, which leaves me room for this type of detail work here. And then I can just go in and do like little V's to kind of like break up the surface, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's all in an effort to, like I said, I cannot draw straight lines at all. Like, and I can't draw circles very well. So to make up for it, I just kind of lean into the smaller things I can do. And that is, I guess that's the takeaway, isn't it? If you can't do something like someone else can, you just lean into what you're capable of. And if you're capable of only getting out of bed, you know, you did it. You got out of bed. Like I said, we're just going to draw these little boxes to kind of like place the segmentation of the necks. And as I work on this, I am less and less about that about that stump character, and that's fine. When something isn't working out with the rest of the piece, don't be afraid to just
delete it. Because it's like what I keep telling people in terms of like drawing and painting and any other like creative endeavor, right? Like it's if it's a mistake, you can either erase it or own it. And if you own it, you can work around and work out what problems you have with it and just kind of like go from there, right? That's a lot darker than I wanted it to be, but that's all right. It's fine. We're golden. We're good. We've got like a solid plan. Is it this one? No, I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete. Oop. I'm just going to erase a little bit of this so it doesn't conflict with the arm. I don't want too many shapes in the same area. Or at least having the same, having shapes in the same area is fine. I just don't want there to be like any visual noise to like one thing superseding another. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. I ramble a lot, so you can feel free to ignore me. This is not artist advice. I'm not an artist. I'm not. I can only give you my opinion on something. And in my opinion, you're doing great. Ooh. Crud. Okay. Excuse me. Yeah. Crab apples. All right, let's go ahead and just... Oh yeah, that's the sweet stuff. That's the sweet stuff right there. Go ahead and hide that for the moment. Because I want to work on this a bit. And then that should be leg parts. Yep, there's the leg parts. So I'm going to start with this guy. And then go ahead and hide that. Oops. Hide that, hide that. And then So we've got our little cuboid shape. I say cuboid, but really it's rectangular. And now we want to define it a tad. So we're going to add some curves to it. And then we're going to take away. So in the setting, there is no mantis threat, right? There's no, like, it's not a threatening species. It's just kind of there doing mantis things. But the vine bark is a threat, and it's a threat primarily because, like, people just fall into them all the time. There's like a couple of ways you can tell that a vine bark isn't actually a tree. Its bark, if you will, is kind of not bark. It's like it's a bunch of like leaves and debris that just, it kind of glues to itself. Its skin makes like a sticky coating substance deal. And yeah. How did I get into a conversation of taxonomy? At least I think that's the right word. Let me look that up real quick. Taxonomy. I think that's the way like a creature or an animal is, like the body plan lays out. Taxonomy. Taxonomy. The classification and naming of organisms in an ordered system that is intended to indicate natural relationships, especially evolutionary relationships. 2, the science, laws, or principles of classification in order or arrangement of group or categories. So yeah, so I guess taxonomy is a good enough word. I'm not entirely sure though. I think it is, but I got nothing. I got nothing. So what I want to do here is I want to start erasing body details underneath this leg. And I'm doing that to get rid of, like I said, any visual clashes that just wouldn't make sense to the subject matter. And so if we erase that, yeah, there we go. Looking spiffy. What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna draw like a little diamond shape, and that's where the leg connects. Yeah, I guess doing that can't hurt. And then I do not know from where that line is. It's got to be in here somewhere. You know what? Let's just... Yeah, there we go. Gone. Gone. What's this? That's not something I need. Alright, so I know that's that. I'm going to go ahead and clean this edge up a little bit. And I'm just looking to redefine the shape a little. I don't want to like take too much out here when I'm erasing this. I do know that I want to add a little bit more of an organic looking shape to this leg part here. And the beauty of drawing in Photoshop is that, and by extension GIMP, I have tried drawing in GIMP. I just, GIMP isn't there for me yet. It's great, but it's not usable for me at all. But I do recommend it to people because once you do learn it, it's what's it called? Once you do learn it, it's like solid. And I do recommend it to like anyone who does want to start doing anything creative on in digital form. All right, so we've got our leg there. Let's go ahead and do up another segment. And do this. Excuse me. All right. I feel so stuffy. I'm not happy with that, like at all. Alright, so what do I do to fix it? Do I do like a crown type deal? Like jewelry setting? Yeah, I'm not happy with that. Okay. Let me try... Let me try extending it upward a bit. I'm going to erase that because it's far, far thicker than I wanted it to be, and it's kind of messing me up. And don't be afraid to use your eraser to redefine a shape. The eraser is as much a tool as the tip of your pencil is. Just remember that. Anything you grab with your hand and you work with is technically a tool. Now, I know there are exceptions to that, and we don't need to talk about that here. We're trying to be wholesome, trying to be okay. So I know what is driving me crazy about this particular bit here. Okay, I know exactly what it is, and we're going to fix it. We're going to address it right now. That. And then we'll do a little of this. Actually, let me... Okay, perfect. Actually, I think this is going to need to come, this little bit is going to need to go and settle in about here. And then we'll do this. And that. We'll do an erase here. I think I want that. Geez. All right, let me do, yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. All right. What? I'm not entirely happy with this. And why? Why am I not happy with this? Let's identify. I think this comes up too steep. I'm just going to reshape that a bit. Lately I've been thinking about doing stuff in clay. And if that's something you'd like to see, let me know. I'm always happy to explore like new things. Leave a comment, leave a chat. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Okay. That's mint right there. That's why I wasn't happy. And then we're just going to erase so that the shape is more clear. Because the inside of a shape, as well as the outside, defines what it looks like. It's one of those things where you can't have one without the other type deal. I mean, you could, but it's not really going to serve you when it comes to conveying or It's not really going to serve any purpose other than confusing you while you draw or paint or whatever. Next time you look at like a miniature, or you look at like, oh man, I didn't want to use that. Or next time you look at, I keep next time you look at something, like anything, allow your eyes to just kind of like work the surface. And by that I mean, like, if you see a line, right, try to see if you can follow where it goes. It's a good like little homework assignment for you guys, especially if you're artistically inclined. You just kind of look for where it goes, and where it stops, nobody knows. So here we have this very like obvious conflict of the previous layer horning in on the top layer. And what I'm going to do, instead of erasing anything, I'm going to use my first bit of color here on this thing. We're going to go for kind of like a yellow-green, like a darker yellow-green. And then we'll do, I don't know, size 10. And what I'll do is I'm just going to come in and paint just on this layer here. And blammo. No more visual confusion. And then I'm going to do the same here. But first I'm going to start with something a little darker, just a tad, just a hair. What I want to do is yoink that color and bring it down to a darker area. And then we'll do brighter here. Perfecto. Well, not just yet, but close. And then you, what's that? Okay, that's what that is. Control N. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so now, am I on the right? Yes. Yes, yes, I am. And then I'll do a little bit of this over here. There we go. A little bit of that here. And then I think I'll just kind of work it into the collar here a little bit more. And then we'll do, I don't know, this. Do 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 do. I'm actually not a fan of whatever this is, so I'm gonna clear some of this out here. And in order to do that, I just go over here. I grab my trusty eraser tool. And blammo. Just kind of clean that up a bit. And now a little bit of this. Just a little bit. A little dabble do ya. At least that's what they say. And there we go. Looking sharp. Looking very, very sharp. I mean, not the talons. The talons aren't there just yet, but but they will be. There we go. A little bit more. And, yeah. You know, I'm just realizing that I haven't drawn the back of this little guy here. Oops. Went over some of that shading that I made earlier. That's fine. We can touch that up. But, yeah. Let's go ahead and do a little of this. A little of that. And a little of that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, crud. wonder why it looked wrong. It looked wrong because I was drawing over top of stuff that shouldn't have been drawn over top of. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I can go in and okay, yeah, I do have a reference. Okay. Hang on. Crud. Yeah, so I'll do one of these. Oh, that is a little thick. What I want to do there we are. And then just kind of do a little bit of hatching back here. And then that hatching will be like the base for the shadow. And then just want to clean that line up a bit. Bring it into alignment with the rest of it. And then yes. And yeah, that looks good. Looks good. Looks decent. Now there's still some visual confusion going on over here, but that's fine. I will end up taking care of it. I do have to head on out, and again, I'm still figuring out how the raid system stuff works. And if you guys have any tips for me, please let me know. But I am going to have to unfortunately get out, and I've got stuff I gotta take care of. But I will see you all again very soon. I will be back on next Monday around 11 a.m. Central Time. And until then, I want you all to take care of yourselves, take care of people around you. Reach out to someone who you think you haven't talked to in a while. And I will see you all again very, very soon. Take care.